See, can everybody see that? Get in there. Get in there. Game capture. You are being very awkward looking boy. Squish you way the hell down. Ex Machina did a number on you. We squished it enough, it'll work, right? There we go. That at least keeps its aspect ratio. Makes life a lot easier. Okay. That looks better. Ooh, you loud. You loud boy. Headphones. There we go. Everybody wants captions. Sure. Any of that matters. Let's start. Oh. I guess we're gonna have an awkward title here. That's fine.
Hi there. Thank you very much for playing the Beginner's Guide. My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote The Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011. We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made. It's a level for Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way. And mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building?
Where are these blobs?
This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And that's exactly what we're going to do here.
No bunny hopping? Not very Counter-Strike.
So, it's 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever.
Oh.
And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, you know, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveywreden@gmail.com.
Is that a real email?
Okay, that's about it for introduction. Let's take a look at Coda's first proper game. As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
Gotta say, the Stanley Parable was an amazing game. Hopefully, well, I mean, same writer. It should be just as good. Oh, that's odd.
Warning. Whisper machine active. Shift to structured imaging.
This game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda.
Those are some awkward hallways. Actually, the whole scale is weird. There's sound on that? I can't tell.
Security call breached. Hostile alien life forms inbound.
This is as far as we got?
It kinda looks like this game was abandoned mid-development. For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets.
Oh,
But
is that what
ultimately,
happened?
We don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should
no, he
talk
did
about
not.
his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Enemy force neutralized.
That alarm is obnoxious.
Evacuation.
I run, please? No?
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room. Apparently, this space station has a labyrinth on it. Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it.
Didn't reload me when he was at it.
Okay, this is the part that's interesting. The game has this narrative about the Whisper Machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Hey,
That looks like a laser. That's not a whisper.
You could save us all. That beam is powering the Whisper Machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam.
Okay.
It's so much to ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it? Could you give yourself?
You like fancy gloves? Oh, hi. They're so comfy. So warm.
Let me pause here for a second.
He did.
What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is
He's so
probably
dead.
what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first
Cookie
compiles
gloves.
and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens in
Yeah. Can't leave fingerprints on the bodies, you know? Is this over? Do it again. That's supposed to happen? Did I break it? Oh god.
the beam causes you to start floating.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
And
Look
this
at
is
that.
an important moment for him.
Good job, game.
Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it.
I would not be
how
surprised if I
small it
shafted
makes you
myself
feel in
randomly.
the face of this
Oh god.
larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife. A
Can I go through the
peaceful
skybox?
place juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts
Nobody
of
needs
directions.
collision.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
This is that is a half abandoned project if I've ever seen one. Listen, there was no thought there. That just happened. Oh god.
In this game, you can only walk backwards.
Oh, that sucks. Ugh. Why would you do that? No. Oh god.
So it's a short and relatively minimalist experiment combining motion and narrative.
Can I go through the hole and
It
kill
is less
myself?
advanced
Please
than
god.
the previous
Let
game,
it be
but
done.
Actually, it seems to be more focused, more complete.
There is
Coda's
nothing complete
trying to
about
give
this.
it
What do you
a
mean?
unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
God, they're sneaking in words as I keep going. Oh, this is horrible. Please stop. Please let me walk forwards. This is a weird game. Yeah. Next Machina did not make it, so now we're here.
It's a short
Okay.
little thought, it says what it wants to say, and then it ends.
What
Didn't
did it
need
say?
anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
That is a thing. God, I can walk again. Oh, this is weird. Makes me think of like the Black Swan painting game. I think I'm actually on a rail. Like I can't go left or right.
And that's it. Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting.
Okay.
Oftentimes, Coda would put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games. I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as
What is this, Final Fantasy?
Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him.
As
I
it
don't
should
agree
be.
with that at all, but what are you gonna do?
I mean, yeah. Yeah. I can do cubes as well. That's basically all I do. As soon as it goes past cubes, it goes to an actual artist. Oh god, no, it's getting slower. Please, no, why?
Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here, so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed, so you can enter the door for yourself.
Oh, thank god. Whee!
A room that's warm and nice and filled with little ideas for games.
Yes, game
Coda would
ideas.
often tell me that he didn't mind if people thought of him as cold or distant.
Whee!
He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that. It can be a very slow climb to get there.
There's a pair of floating eyes emitting footstep noise. What the hell? Someone was smoking a lot of crack. That's what this is. You know, fish.
Well, this is new for Coda. It's an actual puzzle. Go
Puzzle?
ahead and see if you can solve it.
Oh, there's a wall over there. I mean, there's one button. What do we do other than trap ourselves? I'm now trapped. Hey!
Don't forget that solution, because we're going to see this puzzle again soon. We're gonna see it a lot.
I can steal textures. Look at those textures.
So that seems to be it, right? You walk down a corridor, you solve the puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough. Alright, now I'm going to modify the game again, so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
But...
How about that? There was
Okay.
more to it than we had any way of knowing. I actually find it funny that this game comes after the Stairs game, since they essentially convey the opposite idea. So, in the Stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior. And then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world. Either way, I think that the point is the same. Is that
there
most
anything
of
in
the
them?
time you don't get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player. So if your role here is not to understand,
Let me
then
jump.
what is it?
Ah, yes. Here we are again.
Aha. So, this, combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that Coda believes his games are connected somehow. It could even be that the Stairs game and the puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in. some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And once we have, we can step back and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
It sounds like a lot. Oh, that is weird to look at. That is a lot of AO.
Let's talk about video game development for a second. Every video game runs on what's called an engine, which determines what the game can and cannot do. So in other words, the engine is a set of tools for game development. To make all of these games, Coda is using an engine called Source.
Oh
Like
Lord,
all
no.
engines, Source has certain things that it does well, and it has certain things that it does poorly.
I'm trapped.
One of the things that it does very well is
No.
boxy linear corridors. That's why so many of Coda's games are set in these large, flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does well.
Here we are.
The tools available to the creator
I
shape
can't
what
easy.
kinds
This is
of
not gonna
creative
work.
They're gonna end up making. You might consider paying attention to the architecture in Coda's games to notice how they seem to stem from an engine that's very good at producing linear, boxy corridors.
I mean, this could be a fun game on its own. Everybody likes jumping. Eat. Where are we going? Oh, we're getting weird. What is this? What? What? Why is there a wall here? Stop. I mean, I'm pretty sure, some local company did, The Floor is Lava, where it was pretty much just an entire KZ game that they tried to do. Yeah, hot lava? Yeah, that sounds right. Oh god, no, don't be like this. Oh, is it not good? Why? Did they just not have the movement mechanics for it, or what? If I don't, oh, I see, I don't have a choice. In we go.
This prison, funny enough, in Coda's original design, the doors stayed shut for a full hour before letting you go. If you don't mind, I think we're gonna skip that.
Ow.
This is something that he and I used to argue about a lot. You know, whether a game ought to actually be playable, whether it means anything.
Yeah, Clay sounds right.
And I would always defend that, you know...
Yeah, they're the ones who did Mark of the Ninja too, right?
Why not make it playable and accessible? And so we just got into heated arguments over it, and there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home, and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games, each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else.
Okay.
Believe me, I played every single one of those just to find out if there was like a gag hidden somewhere.
I mean, the multiplayer, but also, like, airstrafing is what makes it interesting. If you can just hold W and jump forwards, it's never that great. Yeah, races are cool too. But, I don't know, I've never been good enough at KZ to actually care about the races. I pretty much just die repeatedly and go from there. And go from there, I mean, I usually just play an actual game. What are 3 dots? I've seen that a few times now.
It's the puzzle again, with the exact same solution as the last time. There's still no clear indication of what makes this puzzle so special that Coda is going to return to it over and over. But I promise I'll share with you my interpretation very shortly.
Music is getting awfully loud. Turn down just the music? Oh, okay, well, here we go. Right? Yeah, no, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'd very much like to do a KZ game with airstraight mechanics and that kind of thing, but having it be that hard to get into would also be weird. Like, you pretty much have to depend on people being able to just jump in and do it.
Here, Coda begins using a kind of dialogue system that he fashioned out of the engine's chat capabilities. Use the 1, 2, 3 buttons on your keyboard to respond.
Sure. I've been to the world above. I am your god now. Praise me. Oh, this is important. Did you have to get through a puzzle with 2 doors and switches? I'm not going to tell you. A secret. Is that right? You're trapped, are you? Fine, you may know. Wunderbar. Wunderbar? That where the dialogue ends? Okay then. Yeah, I think it'd be hard to build a tutorial for that. That would actually be fun though. Like, maybe if you exaggerated the actual movement can't bit, so when your airstrafing actually goes far faster and far farther, you'd be able to notice it. But like, with how low it is in Counter-Strike, it's quite hard to notice it unless you're really looking for it. Like, the difference between a hard jump and a normal jump is not that far. But if you actually just went ham with it, you could probably teach it. No. Okay. Maybe FOV would do it, but like... I don't know why you wouldn't just do it at that point. I've been here. Trust me. Why would I sit in the blank space? No. I do not need to sit in the blank space. Are we done? Yeah. You know, you do the Sonic thing and throw speed lines on it as you go faster. Play the music. Be great. I wonder who even owns that music. The initial D? Yeah, throw initial D on it. I think that'd be great. That is school. I think.
It's a lamppost.
Oh, sure. That's not what we're looking at.
Quite why, but for some reason, Coda fixates on this lamppost. It's going to appear at the end of every single one of his games from here on out.
But what about the store?
I'll tell you what I think.
No.
I think that up to this point, you know, he's been
What about
making
this store?
really strange and abstract games with no clear purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long. Because now he wants something to hold on to. He wants a reference point. He wants the work to be leading to something. He wants a destination.
Sounds like you need a boss fight.
What this lamppost is, it's a destination. We're gonna see it in the work
Nope,
as
it's a lamppost.
games are just gonna become a lot more cohesive,
Still a
lot
lamppost.
more fully developed, with more of a clear idea behind them.
Yep,
And
still a
as we go,
lamppost.
that idea will get clearer and clearer and clearer.
Okay then. Stanley Parable would also be a fun one. I haven't played that one in a long, long time. that just descends into weirdness as well. Oh, is this Dark Souls? Pretty sure that's how that works.
So first off, I'm sure you can deduce this, but this game is not connected to the internet. All of the notes that you're gonna see have been written by Coda. This was actually the first game of his that I ever played. This was shortly after I met him at a weekend game jam in Sacramento, where I grew up. I saw him working on this very level, and it was just so different from anything that anyone else was doing. So right away I was like, I have to be friends with this person. In retrospect, I think I was probably a bit too pushy. Trying to
speedrun. Oh.
I was over enthusiastic. But he was very gracious about it and very patient.
Damn invisible walls.
And I cooled off eventually.
Speedrun? No. Man, this just looks like insanity, someone writing all these.
If they're not doing anything for you, nothing extra is going to happen if you read all of them. Either way, to me they convey a sense of loneliness. I see this person who's filled with thoughts and feelings and beliefs and has no way to express them except
oh god, that's extra
voices in a game that wasn't meant to be played.
No, this feels like a descent into madness, straight up. Going crazier by the second.
But it's ironic, isn't it? That in playing this game and seeing how alone Coda often felt, that we get to know him better and actually kind of connect with him.
Oh, Apex sliding where?
I have to be honest with you. This idea is really seductive to me. That I could just play someone's game and see the voices in their head and get to know them better and have to do less of
yeah, schizophrenic diary is probably a good way to think about this. This is very weird.
Know you through your work.
All they have to do is like yell at you. Instead of text, just have it start screaming at you when you walk over them. You can do a text-to-speech pretty easily now, right?
Me personally into his world. And then I feel less lonely too.
Okay. Can't imagine it stays bad for long. With all the... Like, Google must be trying very hard to make it decent. I can't imagine it just stays in this awkward phase for very much longer. Machine learning has come so far. Can I run, please? Let me run. Yeah, that's yeah. Oh, do they put their best stuff in the purple cloud? But I mean, why wouldn't Google use it on their own stuff? Like, I feel like they would want to push all their own text-to-speech for actual Google Translate and like Google Maps. Gotta say, that's a better piece of art than I could make. Even all the dots, I couldn't do it. Oh, okay. Someone was very upset. There's corporate versions of maps and translate? Really? But why? That's from those perfect from far away? Sure. Always looks like dots, doesn't it? I don't know. I'm not sure why too many companies would pay for Google Translate. Like at that point, you can just hire an interpreter. Like, they're rich enough to afford it. There's supposed to be some sort of different image when you back off and look at it? The comments insinuated. Yeah, like, I assume if a company is doing something important enough where they'd pay for a corporate translate, they would just pay for an actual translator or interpreter. So at least then you get, you know, all the subtleties, and hopefully you can talk to them about your intentions instead of just what you say, because lots of things don't translate directly.
And here, I'll tell you what I think the puzzle means. Each of these games
sort of in between? Yeah, maybe.
That was on Coda's mind at the time that he was making it.
I don't know, they make enough money off ads, so they really need to do anything else.
On a previous chapter of his life before moving on to the next one. In each of his games, after
Yeah,
exploring
this is
a theme
schizophrenic.
that
Listen to that.
he might find
The
difficult,
demons are in my head.
Code can then place this puzzle that he knows has a reliable solution. He
Oh,
understands
YouTube makes
exactly
hilarious
how it
amount of money.
works, and so it gives him a
They know how to
sense of
monetize
ease
ads
to learn
properly.
them all.
Oh, hey, it's you.
And because there's this dark area between the doors, a space between spaces, before you move on, you get to pause. Just for a moment, a few seconds to reflect on and let go of the
Grab me,
events
Daddy.
that led you here. To step back and connect the pieces together. To grasp at that elusive bigger picture.
Yeah, no, YouTube really got their ads together. They have really good CPM systems to monetize everything, and it's on like every video. So they're just making money hand over fist, and they will be forever. Oh, okay then. I'm really disappointed that buttons are not going down. I think it's also why YouTube actually pushes for new creators and like helps them get discovered, because like it's just a flat rate per 1,000 clicks more or less, depending on the category of video. So it doesn't really matter where they get the views from, if it's a big person or a small
Okay, this
person.
one's
It's just as long as they drive
Let it
traffic,
just
they're winning.
spin its own wheels for a few minutes. Hang with it.
This is a room. Not a prison at all. Definitely not. Can I turn the light off? No. I don't know where that is. Oh, that's cool. I like that. Huh. Yeah, Twitch is not doing great in the way that they actually like promote their platform. Like, they really aren't. I don't know why they're not trying to as much. I think it's just too small of a part of Amazon for them to care that much.
See, like, this is it. The whole
Okay.
way. And there's nothing that's particularly interesting about it. You
I
just
am the well
walk to
now.
the end of a hallway. Except, for some reason, Coda gets really fixated on this prison that has all of this modern furniture. And I don't know why, but he decided
Yeah,
to
Twitch
leave
has always
to
been
visit
really
this
funny.
prison.
They need to
We
get
start
their ads
over,
in
use the same assets,
on point. They
turn
need
it
to
into
get
something else.
discoverability on point.
Okay, cool. Here's version 2.
Probably not version 2. Oh, that's cool. I wonder if using DMCA to get rid of all the VODs just to solve some server space issues, make it a bit cheaper. It's like they're restoring hilarious amounts of data for nothing. A refrigerator? I want a refrigerator. Give me a refrigerator. That is not a refrigerator. That is like a desk. I want a horse picture. Go. Horse picture? Where? That is a couch. That's not a horse. They're not listening to me. This is me. That's the coils. Nope. Back to the lamp. This is not nice. I don't know. Like, it had to have been terabytes per person more. I can't imagine it was cheap. A percent full it. I see. I hear you. Amazon has way too much storage space. Where are you? None of my choices are making a difference. This is correct. Welcome, table. I am a table now. Oh, that's cool. Oh, I like that effect.
There's a bit more to this one, but still, it's not really communicating anything.
I am the
It's
KZ.
kind of just weird for weirdness' sake.
Weird for weird is fine with me. I can't jump high enough.
So okay, he throws it out and starts over. This time he comes at the prison idea from a
100
different
years, eh?
direction.
I hear y'all need to stop charging so much for space. I'd love to just jam everything in the cloud for nothing. But I don't want to click on the table. It's somewhat cheap, but, you know, not enough for me to not ignore it. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I should get an account? I assume it's different between corporate account and a personal account. So far, everything's just sitting on an M2 drive for me. Be nice to actually back it up. Like, I have the, I can download them back from YouTube, but I'd rather just keep the RAWs. Photo frame? Yeah, turn it. Oh, that's weird. Like, switch out of the entire model. Move the sofa. Touch the shelves? I'm not gonna remember any of that. Some charge because of amp. I don't know. Is anyone actually cracking down on companies these days?
And of course, now the table is gone and you can't begin the chain of events to escape.
That's not too bad.
Here's a version where there are no bars.
Is that per month?
To actually get to the well. And then a version where the inside of the prison is the outside and the outside is the inside. Let me just blink you real quick through a few more of these. I mean, he really unloaded on this prison idea. There's nearly a dozen of them. Personally, I think it's awful to watch this. To see a person basically unraveling through their work. And for what? Like, at what point do you just go, maybe there are game ideas other than this prison that I could be working on? But Coda doesn't have that voice telling you to stop. That particular mechanism of defense against yourself. Without it, you just spiral. And so he keeps going, and going, and going, and going, and going. And then he hits on something. And he likes it. And that's it. He's done. He stops making prisons. This is the very last version of the prison game that he created.
Might not be a bad idea to just cloud back up everything.
The reason I think it works is that the prison is not actually in it.
Every once in a while I just like duplicate a drive, but I'd rather not do that. Spooky. Is there a nice way to set that up easily? Like, I'd love to just have it every night or something. Go by date modified or whatever the Git uses. That was a re-teleport. Yeah.
It's a conversation. And
this
so
is weird.
This is what Coda wants, is to be able to talk to someone, to share what's on his mind, and to get some good advice from someone who knows.
I think that's what everybody wants.
But the irony is that even in this scenario, you're still talking to yourself. You know,
talking to your future self will be amazing.
So far
give me them lottery numbers. This really just does feel like the descent into mess. It does change. Oh god, how much bandwidth would that eat to just overwrite everything constantly? Age just does that, you know? I wish these actually made a bit of a difference. I feel like if the difference in text doesn't actually have any different outcome, then like, I just don't pay attention to what it even says almost. because it never matters. Asking how I felt being in prison? Sure. Apparently that works. You just tell the guard to stop beating you. You know, that he's happy. Listen, everybody does this. It's a problem. It's even a Nintendo thing. Every developer does this. Too expensive to make multiple passes. They're just, Listen, only makes a difference for the next 10 seconds, then you're done. It will make sense, comrade.
I can see why he
getting
considers
weird.
this a fitting conclusion to the prison games. After all of the obsession and frustration, just to be told by someone you can trust that things are going to be okay. Wouldn't that be nice?
Getting sad.
So what would it look like
It's not
if
gonna end
Cody
well.
wanted to make a game about talking to someone other than himself? To me, this environment is meant to represent Coda's puzzle, with the two doors on either side and a dark transitional space between.
That's a nice tone change. Friend. Talos Principle?
You'll notice that the quality of
I think
the
I
art
played
is
like
a
half
step
of
up
it
from previous games,
before I
including this
petered
new
out.
and improved chat system, which he
It was quite a
started
cool
using
game.
from this point on. From here on out, he begins
I don't
putting
know. I
much
can only
more
do
time
logic
into
puzzles for
the
so
technical
long
polish of his work,
before I
and
get
this particular game
bored of
took
them,
2
unless they
months to
just
create
keep
as
being
is.
very interesting. Like, I think the only game that's actually been able to keep me caring about straight puzzles is, like Antichamber, just because they're so incredibly unique. Like, there was a lot of mechanics reused in the Talos Principle, and I just couldn't. Like, I know it gets cooler, just from, you know, trailers and whatnot, and I wanted to see the end of it, but, like, not enough to suffer through some of that. I could definitely do it. Let us clean the whole place, friend. I'm the little one now. Yeah, I think that's where I stopped in the middle. Like, it didn't feel like I got very close to the end. Please clear the table? Sure. I do all the cleaning. I'm the dish man. Oh, I can't wash them. Is it time to do a Zen game about washing dishes? Just pull out a plate, clean it off, put it on the other side. And it's just infinite dishes. Make the bed? Or nobody folds their sheets like that. You enjoy being house cleaner? I mean, it's pretty satisfying. Cleaning games are oddly popular. Maybe that's the core of a lot of farming games is just feels like tidying up constantly. Can I clean the cup, please? Oh, pillows. Pillows. Fill the drink? Oh, now I can do it. Hey! Ooh, personal insight. Make it especially cheesy. Well, that's mean. Don't do me like that. Story time. Story time. Just tell me what you want so I can do it efficiently. One room at a time. Please, God. Clear the dishes off the...
After the intense set of prison games,
Oh no.
this house cleaning level almost feels like cleansing.
No, it's back.
It's the moment after a particularly difficult or traumatic experience where you just need to let it sit and digest inside of you, and eventually cohere into something meaningful.
Raul hasn't seen it clean, sure.
I know that Coda really liked this game. Of all of his work, actually,
Very
this
peaceful.
was the only one that he called me up to ask me to come over and look at it. This was during a period of a few months where he was, like, grossly happy all the time. Just
I can definitely see this
walked around
concept
with
being
a
pulled into something
constant
like
smile on his
Overcooked.
face.
I feel like not too many people are actually just making like Zen games. Oh, nope. Like I feel like that's appeal of like Stardew and that type of thing is just constant cleaning and taking care of things. Somewhat satisfying. I said it occurs to me that one's house is a lot like one's soul. Sure. There's a bit of truth. Oh, just let me stand on you. How does he keep messing it up? He's not even in here.
I'm glad he made this. I'm glad he found some peace. Of course, it can't last. The music stops, your companion is gone, it's time to leave. The door at the top of the hill is now open as well. Again, you can't stay in the dark
weird
space
jump.
for too long. You just can't. You have to keep moving. It's how you stay alive.
I mean, I could just turn off the game and end it there, and you know, I'd be there forever. Oh. Back to Mr. Lamppost.
Which is the whole point of the puzzle doors, right? That sooner or later you have to pick up and move. I really thought that was the point of it.
That's weird.
This one gets a bit goofy.
I'm trapped. What does that say? Talk? Yeah. Okay then. Who do you think, by the way, in your own life? No one? Nobody is. And that's a bit of self-loathing right there. Perfection is within your grasp. Is that right?
About halfway through the game, the perspective shifts.
Oh, okay.
And you play as the teacher. And suddenly, you discover that your teacher is just as bigoted and afraid as you are. Oh, and also you can move around the classroom now.
Okay, that is some Lovecraftian horror. We'll go jump into it. Must be effortless. I think we are getting to the breakdown. This is... To be fair, that's really cool. That is a badass effect someone made. Line up the lamppost. That seems right. Torturing yourself trying to find the right solution for your life. You're not doing it right? Ah, that's not true. Everybody suffers. Got only one thing. What is the easiest, simplest path forward? Yeah, okay. What is this, a cult? There's no truth. There's no path. If it's easy, it's usually not worth doing. That's the problem. Everything easy has been done. Nothing, no one.
I fell pretty hard for this one. I feel like it's one of the most relatable experiences that you can have.
I love the Lovecraftian
assume
screams.
Some other person is perfect and totally fulfilled in every way, and completely miss all of the little flaws that make them painfully human.
What? Does anyone do that? I just assume everyone is a broken mess. That's how that works. I think it's the only way it can work.
This one took a lot longer than all the others for Coda to make. It was 4 months between this and the last one. That's twice as long as it took him to make any other game before this, and it's not like it's particularly complex, so I remember I found that a little strange at the time.
Showtime. No showtime. Oh. Dance monkey. They're leaning against the wall. Sure. I'm the wall now. Oh, okay. Hello, friend. That's not a conversation. Hey, start a conversation. Oh. Rip. You see, I changed the hotkey, but now the crouch button is different in this one. And this is where we've come. Oh, that's fun. It's so musical. See, that'd be a fun game. I am the pinball. Whee! Nice. Work with cones of bounce when you touch them will represent the people nearby. Now talk to her again. You must have worked really hard. Hello, friends. Everybody wants to play Playthough. That's the problem. It's personal that quickly. Do you not realize how important that this was for me? You'll never get an opportunity like this again? Sure. Someone's real upset. No! I was playing with those. Is that the end already? Hello, Mr. Lamppost. This is, some very depressing shit. Imposter syndrome going on. Hi, friends. Man should just be happy. You made a nice lamppost. Look at this thing. A little bit of grime. Nice texture. I don't know what I've done. Where should I be going? I don't know. Oh, okay.
The game ends with this eerie premonition of what's going to happen next in Coda's life. The solution to social anxiety, to fears of having to perform and having to chase success, the answer for Coda is to withdraw, to hide himself away. Which is what
Seems
leads
right.
to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago, where it just becomes harder and harder to access Coda's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very healthy when I first played this game. You know, it looked to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting yourself from the world. And that wasn't what I wanted for him or for his games. Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting me to connect with this person, to bring him closer.
Okay.
But what can you do? After this, Coda went off and took another 5 months to make a new game.
How does this man afford to live? Hope you strip. Play this game properly. You must keep your eyes closed. One eye? One eye closed? Two eyes closed? No, not gonna happen. Nope. Help, I'm blind. Help me, friends. So I actually did play a really unique game that was basically built for deaf people. So it actually had no visuals at all. The only thing you could see was like the start menu to get in, but it was all narrated. Everything you went over was narrated, and it was just entirely based on sound. Like, it was a fighting game too, so it was like block left, block right kind of thing based on what direction it's coming from. It was super neat. I wouldn't say it was great, but it was incredibly unique, and I'd love to see more of that explored. Yeah, sure. Throw them on Valor to fix the audio issues. That is a door. I'm blind. I'm dead. Still blind. Please? Are we dying? Talk to me, friends. Oh no, he's blind. Captain is blind. Everyone is blind. Yes, yes, you are. Let us go together, friend. Can I abandon ship and leave them all here? Goodbye, friends. I found the way. I've not found the way. Let's go with the depressing option. I can't keep making these. Yes, that's it. That's the truth. I'm out of ideas. It's draining me. Yeah, that's pretty depressing.
First off, he's never been this explicit in his work about exactly what he's thinking. So where's that coming from? But then even weirder, his work has potentially stopped being an outlet for him. Not like he's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new ideas anymore.
Sounds like someone's burnt
He
out.
was being a lot more distant than usual. Like, you know how
Usually what
sometimes
that
a
is.
person will just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time? It was that kind of thing. Here was the point in my relationship with Coda where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way.
I'm gonna say probably. A hard probably. I thought it was gonna be easy. Is it working? That's sad.
His games are going to get more desperate from here on out.
Oh no.
After this game, it's almost 6 months before he finishes something new.
How many years did this say it was going from the start? I think it was 3. But I think it ends in 2011 something. What is this? Oh, that was cool. This is NSL. Give me some shears and let's just trim the tree as we go. Hello, is anyone there? This is neat. I am certainly lost. Nothing left to give. Nope, can't fall. Those are really neat trees. Shane, there was a machine that kept me going and it stopped. Trying to find this engine that used to protect me to start it again. Goodbye, engine. This is a really cool aesthetic. Show me stand back. Take me to it, friend. This is really cool.
If the last game featured Coda talking explicitly about his creative frustrations, this one turns it up to 11. Now, put yourself in my shoes playing this. Here's a friend whose work is exhibiting signs of
doesn't matter what I say.
Frustration, anxiety, depression,
well played.
Even. And yet still he keeps making games. He keeps throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore. Why? What is it?
I can totally see this entire thing being its own game, just walking through sceneries. I can totally see that being an artist game.
And just what I knew of him, this was a result of how isolated he was.
Oh lord, here we are again.
In his own little bubble, just sitting at his computer all day, not really showing these games to anyone, not releasing them onto the internet, and so he didn't have anyone outside of himself to connect with.
Google Maps for walking simulator? I mean, that's pretty much what Microsoft Flight Simulator is, isn't it? First you must open the door. Ooh! Hotness. Okay, now what? Now you must close the first door. The bestest. This is, still peaceful, less peaceful. Microsoft Flight Simulator is actually really cool. But I'd much rather like the artistic interpretations, unless you're going to go to unique places. Now let's just switch here. Hey, I'm free.
You
So simple.
Talk yourself out of loneliness. It doesn't work that way. You can't be the one writing both the questions and the answers. Then there's no movement. Then there's no circulation. If all of your anxieties are being channeled into your work, then if the work ever fails, you have no backup and you're just going to crash.
The airport we're heading on? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. They kind of have to be usable. Yeah. What are you talking about? You just have to say that your work is fun and easy. You have to say that game development is civil and joyous and that you love 100% of the time. Yeah, sure, about that. I don't think anyone says that. Making games is effortless. Ooh. Why do I feel so awful? Keep talking. Saying it's easy. I'm excited and enthusiastic. That goes away real fast.
Seeing this game at the time that he made it, it looked really unhealthy to me.
To be fair, I think all these have been unhealthy.
To himself, and I hated it.
It's just getting sadder.
So trapped. It's like video games are not worth this amount of suffering.
Problem is, it's never about games. It's just about life. Every time I make something to feel better about myself, just never stop creating, you'll never feel bad. Such a simple solution. Pretty sure creating makes you feel bad, but you know, that's its own thing.
This is someone I really cared about. And I used to get so much joy out of seeing him create. For him to suddenly become angry and frustrated like this, it was the worst thing for me.
None of this is helping. It always pays off eventually. Yes, it does, sure.
I don't know. This is what I felt at the time. I don't know how else to explain it. I wanted it to stop more than anything. I had never felt so rotten. I just
Are there LODs in this text?
needed more than I had ever needed.
What in the hell?
For this to stop.
Oh, weird. I am the vessel for certainty. Power.
But it didn't stop. After finishing this one, Coda takes another 7 months and comes up with a new game.
This is not going well. Should be meat grinder. Okay, intend to be quick. Open the door, comrade. Someone called the press? He calls itself Coda? Is that right? Oh, Lord.
And of course, it's the machine.
Your work was keeping us alive. Burn the witch. You go to the people who are out there and apologize. Maybe you let them suffer. Happened so long. You bad man, you left. I have seen what you fear. Spooky. My friends! I have a troubling revelation. The machine refuses to admit that it has deliberately hurt us. But this is not important. We are stronger than it thinks we are. Let us show it that we are not failures. March, my friends. Follow me. We will destroy everything that the machine has created. Oh, time to dance again. Really like how they pop things out. Oh, Lord. Ew. Ew. What is this? That is a hell of a lot of work. Eee. And the pew pew. Oh, I can't destroy the floor? Oh, that'd be such a pain in the ass to make that all modular.
So now the work is becoming self-destructive. And I'll tell you,
No, there's
at
no
the
way they
time
did
that
it.
I
It must
first
be a
played this
shader.
game, shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm thinking that code is stuck in his own head, and that it's having a very negative effect on him, and that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people, to get some actual feedback on his games. It might get him out of isolation.
Oh.
And so, as I'm thinking this, I realize that I could be the one to initiate it. Because it would never occur to Coda to start actively soliciting feedback, so what if I did it for him?
I had a special typewriter.
If he could see the difference it would make,
Goodbye.
or have more actual conversations with other human beings, would that bring him out of his mental spiral?
Nope, conversations
Would it give him
are
confidence in himself? Would it bring meaning back into his work?
I don't think confidence can come from other people, unfortunately. Is it just turning it white? It's not even alphaing it, I don't think. It's just like getting rid of the shadows and turning it white. Oh no, that popped a hole.
So I started showing Coda's work to people. I took this one, and the islands which you just played, the theater, the notes, the house cleaning game, and some of the prison escape games. I brought them to people that I knew and trusted. I asked their opinions. And the great part is that they really loved his games. You know, the point of it all was just to give him some external reference point, but they genuinely loved his work.
Yeah,
There was
I don't think anyone's
nothing
gonna
for
like
him
that.
to be afraid of.
Stop. In the name of the law. Uh. Uh.
Can you see why I felt like this was the right
That's a
thing
lot
to
of
do?
bullets.
Because it's the thing that I always feel like I need, to be told that my work is good, that I am good. When someone really connects with a thing that I've made, when they see themselves purely in my work, there's nothing that feels better. And I got to give that very same feeling to my friend. I did something... I really felt like I'd done something good, like I was a good person. I felt like there was a friend who was in trouble and was unhappy and maybe didn't like themselves, and I could fix it. If I could give him this gift, maybe I could fix the problem. When they told me how much they enjoyed his games, it was the best feeling. It was the absolute best feeling. It made me feel so happy, so beautifully.
That sounds selfish. Ruh-roh.
So anyway, Coda finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while. So this is June of 2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I guess. And so out of nowhere, one day I get an email, and it's got a private link to a new game of Coda's. This one is called The Tower, and to my knowledge, it's the last game that Coda ever made. So let's take a look. And this is where I have trouble saying anything meaningful about Coda's work. Because more than anything else, the tower just feels distant. It feels like it's trying to distance itself from the world. It's a very cold game.
Very brutalist.
This room actually has a maze in it. Except that all the walls of the maze are invisible.
Oh god,
And then
no.
every time you touch one of the walls, there's this awful flashing and noise, so the experience is really miserable. The game goes beyond not being meant to be played, it actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all. But I do want to show you the rest of the levels, so when you're ready to continue, press enter and I'll put a bridge over the maze.
Bridge Plus. Does Source have those? That looks like Unreal. We can all have a seat here together, it's fine.
And to be fair, it's not like this is the first game that's needed some modification to be playable. Like the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever.
Yeah, they did say it
You
was
had to
Source.
cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end. But that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze? The only
Frustration?
way past this challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code. Like the invisible maze, it's frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Coda has made. It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask anything of me, except a lot of my time. If I could have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him, but I couldn't. I still don't really understand why this is here. I'll put the code on the ground for you here, though, so that we can move on.
How do I hit the switch? Did I do it right? 1, 5. Oh no! No! One click, stay. Button? Button. Carry me stairs.
The switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door, meaning that it's literally impossible to solve from this side. So even if you somehow brute forced your way through the first 2 challenges, and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress. And it's scary for me, the idea of Coda cutting himself off entirely, just saying, you know, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem.
It is not yours to
Failure,
fix.
I guess, when I
Rip.
can't fix the problem. But I can open this door for you, so let me do that.
Bloop. Alright. Nope.
Was I a failure for not understanding this game? I mean, I don't know why I would be. It's not like everything needs to have a solution, but I feel it somehow. I feel like I failed, and I don't understand why. I remember, it's June of 2011, I'm playing this for the very first time, and as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person. I have no idea who this person is. It wasn't the guy I knew, it wasn't my friend. I had come to so many conclusions from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them... I had been trying to, though. That was the thing. For years I was trying to get to know him, to understand who he actually was and what he stood for. I asked him so many times to please just tell me what his games mean to him. I asked him please to tell me what the 3 dots mean. And he wouldn't. I just felt so strongly that if I could have connected with him, that if I could have somehow made his work my own, that I would finally be once and for all happy. It was that I needed to see myself in someone else. I needed to be someone other than me. But he stopped and left. And it felt somehow like I had failed. Where did I screw up?
Rip.
I'm the reason that you stopped making games, aren't I? It's because of what I did. I poisoned it for you. I don't think I ever told you this, but when I took your work and I was showing it to people, it actually felt... it felt as though I were responsible for something important and valuable. And the people who played them, they treated me like I was important. They really listened and cared about what I had to say. Even though I was showing your work, I felt good about myself. Finally. For a moment, while I had that, I liked myself.
Wait, what? But he was adding lampposts? That's cheating. It was just supposed to be depressing the whole time?
And then you stopped. And I didn't have anything left to show people. I just had to be with myself. And as soon as that happened, there was no feeling at all. Nothing. Less than nothing.
Seems right.
What does that mean?
Mm-hmm. I think there's a bit about both of them.
I'm afraid that I did something really stupid because I don't like myself.
Rip.
That's why I'm releasing this collection of your work, is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything. And so a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that I'm sorry. I know I screwed up. If I apologize to you truly and deeply, will you start making games again? Please, I need to feel okay with myself again. And I always felt okay as long as I had your work to see myself in. I mean, is something wrong with me? Because I know that I did an awful thing, and I'm doing it again right now. Like, I'm showing people your work, but I can't stop myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again, like I'm an addict. There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you want. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, start making games again. Please help me. Please give me some of whatever it is that makes you complete. I want whatever that wholeness is that you just summoned out of nothing and you put into your work. You were complete in some way that I never was. I want to know I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself. Please. I'm fading, and all I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.
Okay then. Oh. I really thought it was just gonna close itself there. Well, this is very different.
More love, more praise, more people telling me that I'm good. Always more. It's like a disease. Solution.
this the entire game after
I guess
the
if
road to
someone
hell
had
is
told me ahead of
made
time
with
that
good
he just
intentions.
really enjoyed making prison games, maybe I wouldn't have thought he was so desperate. I wouldn't have told so many people that he was depressed. Maybe he just likes making prisons.
Hmm.
Even now, the disease is telling me to stop. Don't show people what a shitty person you are. They'll hate you. If I knew that my life depended on finding something to be driven by other than validation, what would that even be? It's strange, but the thought of not being driven by external validation is unthinkable. Like, I actually cannot conceive of what that would be like. What now?
Hmm.
I think I need to go. And I'm sorry, because I know that I said that I would be here and I would walk you through this, but I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot that I need to make up for, and so I'm
Not
just
sure how you do that without screwing up worse.
okay.
Hmm. The scene switching is really cool. Very unique. Hmm. I really do have a thing for waiting. Hmm? Can't tell if it's getting happier or sadder. Like, everything is just so empty now. We're getting a bit more abstract as we go. Oh, I see the suicide machine is at the end. We're getting sadder. Hmm. I think this entire game is just a sad face. Hmm. This is a big old talk about depression. In like a hour-long container, 2 hours. Definitely very good at it, though. We're still floating. Back here. It's getting happy, and I don't know why. There's no reason for there to be happy music right now. Is it death or is it just getting raptured? I think I'm getting raptured. I don't know where I'm gonna get raptured to though. Where's the skybox? Am I still rising? I am. Okay. Cap this and run a pathfinding algorithm for it. See if there's an end.
Turn back from this cave. You said, let me prove that I'm brave.
Okay then.
Let me keep going.
That was a unique game.
The cave goes for miles and miles and miles. And you're so tired, but I know that you're strong. So turn back.
I assume that's it. Seems like I usually do post-credit things, but you know. Very well could. No, that's it. No post-credit things here. You do have lampposts, though. That was a very... It was a good game. I would recommend it, but it's weird. You have to be looking for something odd. Like, it's not something you just pick up randomly and play, I don't think. The narrator was very, very good. The writing was very, very good. I do like how they kind of put everything together. It was amazingly well done. Like, it really lends itself to it, right? Like, so the whole point is to not be perfect, and everything is kind of a janky mess, so just by going with that,